What's up, lads? Long time no see. Lost Records, the Bloom and the Rage tape, the review, and the masterpiece by the Dot Knot. So, when Dot Knot first introduced Lost Record, Bloom and the Rage to the public at the Game Awards 2023, the gamers and the industry insiders immediately defined the title as the spiritual successor to Life is Strange, the French studio pinnacle work. The comparison, although very heavy, is largely appropriate since the Lost Records brings with the distinctive traits that made Life is Strange great. However, this does not prevent Lost Records from building its own very strong identity, which differentiates it from the story of Max and Chloe in many aspects, be they gameplay or the way of narrating. An identity that slowly builds before the player eyes to then overwhelm him with a growing climax of emotions that culminates in the final section of the first part of the game. Scrolling throughout the credits accompanied by an excellent soundtrack, the impressions is that we have before us title capable of being even better than its famous precedent. So, the Lost Records takes us to the village of the Velvet Co., a place much less structured than Arcadia Bay, and as well, but with many more stories to tell. Here we relive the late summer weeks of 1995 of four girls who find themselves friendly almost by chance, who meet again 22 years later to discuss a package received from one of them, whose sender implies he knows a secret that the girls, now women, had decided to bury in the deeps of the past. The game puts us in the shoes of the Swan, who has a lot of in common with the young Max Caulfield. Sorry for the second comparison. Swan is the nerd to the core, a love of the books and the films, and always with her video camera in hand. However, Swan is also an overweight girl, and this creates a continuous conflictive relationship with both those around with her mother who is not too well away pushes her to lose the weight. One late summer day, Swan meets Nora, Autumn, and Kat, with whom she forms a strong friendship that will last throughout the summer of 1995. For the four girls spend days dedicated to the music and excursions, and during one of those excursions, they find a cabin in the forest that they decide to make the base of the Bloom and Rage, the name of the punk group. So, the cabin becomes the place where the girls can be themselves, away from the eyes of those who are always ready to judge them. The summer of 1995 seems to be the best of their lives until one day something strange happens and it will change the lives of the four of the friends. In 2022, the girls, now women, meet again at the Velvet Cove at the investigation of the Autumn, who has received a package addressed to the Bloom and the Rage with a message where the sender claims to know what the girls did in the summer of 1995. Whatever the box contains that seems to terrify the woman who through the scenes of the summer 1995 were buried. Lost Records Bloom and Records follow the classic dot not style narrative, adventure genre by offering gameplay based on multiple choice dialogues and the consequences that these led to, accompanied by exploration of the various areas and various puzzles scattered around. The game is also built on a continuous switch between the past and present, which creates a system such that the choices of the past influence and the dialogues and memories of the present, creating a continuous reference between the two eras. The central element of the gameplay is Swan's camera, which we can record everything that passes in front of us. The main events of the game revolve around the camera, as do the many secondary missions, which are mostly lists of the element of the game environment to be filmed. The footage taken with the camera can be manipulated as desired by the player, so much so that it's possible to create small in-game shorts. Returning to the dialogues, as already mentioned, those follow what has already been seen in Life is Strange. However, unlike Max Caulfield's adventure, the dialogue options are not static but changed based on what the player observes and the choice to respond impulsively or wait for the people around to finish speaking. In fact, Many times I happened to miss the dialogue options because I had responded too quickly to various intercultures. One of the first things that catches the eye when I'm playing Lost Records is its art style, which drew him to the 90s. Donna was very clear about who this game wanted to talk to, the millennials, and it goes so by pushing the nostalgia pedal hard. During my run, I stopped to look around countless times and take it many time cultural references that game has to offer. Whether it was Tamagotchi or my X Files or a Super Nintendo or whatever it was popular way back then, Lost Records has so much to offer that nostalgia hunting can become a minigame of the sorts. You can talk about the 90s without talking about the movies and music, and Lost Records does not disappoint. The game is chock full of cassettes, tapes, with a great playlist that you can steal for your road trips, by the way. I got some. And videotapes that will have you hardback films called the era. In short, if you are 30, 40 years old and you have a love for the video games, music, and films, playing Lost Records will mean taking a dive into your childhood. It's almost merely mentioned Lost Records fully embraces the dot not style, and it is also confirmed on the article side. Graphically speaking, the game has more realistic style than Life is Strange. However, the 1995 section constantly maintains a sense of innocence thanks to a constant filter, which I will call nostalgia, and more than wise of our colors. So, the first part of Lost Records Broom and Rage introduces us the four ghosts and the various locations of the story. From the beginning, it is constantly in the air that something is wrong, whatever the strange symbol around or distortions in the room. However, as the best horror production of the 90s, the anomaly is never seen on screen, also because it's not yet necessary in the economy of narrative. Indeed, it's almost in the background, and even when you might think that something strange has happened, the game brings us back down to the earth. The narrative divide of feeding on the player and the critical element the package from the first minutes without ever revealing the secret it holds works very well, almost reminiscent of the briefcase from the Pulp Fiction. At the moment, the judge on the Lost Records Bloom on the Rage is based on the first part of the game, and the premises seem to be more that excellent, so much so the game seriously risks proving superior to Life is Strange, and the second part maintains the narrative power of the first part. So we have to wait until some time when the game will be having the second part, but in general I strongly recommend you to play the Lost Records Bloom and Rage. Very nice, very good. Bye.